Tucker Carlson. This one makes me so sick and sad because you see people think that Tucker's badass. Tucker's cool. Guys, Tucker is no better than any fool on our roster. And that's the kind of guy that it's like, you can't really attack him because they think you're doing it for some political reason. Tucker's a liar. He's a con man. He's Logan Paul. Logan Paul levels of lie. But he's badass because he hates the left. He hates the left, man. Him and Elon and Tucker. You guys, please don't listen to anything out of Tucker's mouth. We saw it here live when Tucker lied about Josh Denny. Here's one that we couldn't possibly agree on more, right? We all agree Josh Denny is not who he says he is, right? He's a liar, a con man, a thief, criminal liar. Like, we despise Josh Denny more than anybody on this planet. Tucker took Denny's lies and shared them. You know, when Denny lied about his, show of being canceled and how that all went down, his stand-up show.
Antifa.
Tucker went on there and just lied. Tucker went on with Andrew Tate and pretended he had never heard a thing about Tate before. Him and Candace Owens, they just pretend, oh, Tate must have been set up. This is a good guy. And if Tucker's sitting down with Tate, laughing it up and finds no issues with him and doesn't question him about anything, well, then everybody watching goes, well, Tucker wouldn't sit down with Tate and be his buddy if Tate was up to something, so Tate's good. We live in a world now where people think Tate has done nothing wrong. And I gave you my speech. You're allowed to like Tate and be entertained by him. And at the same time, know that he's a criminal mastermind. But people in this country, if you like somebody, you want to pretend they haven't done any crimes. Not me. I like criminals. This is the confusing part for people. Andrew Tate is a legit criminal. He's scary, and he should scare you. What he does for a living should repel you. But you should also think he's cute, sweet, funny.
That's how he was able to do all the crime.
That's how he was able to do all the crime. And you could still think that. You're still allowed to go, yeah, but he still has to go to jail. Okay? He has to go to jail if we want to live in any sort of society that works. But they don't want to be able to do two different things. So if you think he's cute, funny, and entertaining, then you're going to lie to yourself and join the team of people who have now diluted reality by saying, Tate's actually done nothing wrong. I can't believe, man, he's been really set up. You know he wasn't set up. We've all been following this since day one. But all of a sudden now Tate is nice and he's a sweet guy. Wait, show me George Janko. Pull up George Janko because this is perfect here. You got to see what George Janko's doing. And again, you don't even have to be anti-Tate, but you have to be pro-reality. You have to go, here's a guy, I like him a lot. He's also a sex trafficking convict. And he could be both. And that doesn't mean if he's in prison, do you hate him? You can still love him in prison. But he has to be in prison, right?
He's going to kill it in there.
Let me show you this. Because this is what I mean about the world becoming this new thing that I find to be really, really scary. Do I have Janko yet?
Yeah, it should be next up.
Look what George Janko just did. Is this queued up here?
157.55.
157.55. And this is Janko. He's supposed to be the moral hero of our world, right? George Janko.
Janko, thank you so much for doing this podcast. You're so wise, and it's so awesome to have something to listen to that's not impulsive, because this is like you're sharing. A George Janko commenter.
Yes, George Janko comment. I mean, George is talking to little Mexican kids who believe every word out of George's mouth. George is using the word of God to... George is a fucking criminal. I mean... George Janko needs to be stopped.
I want to save his girlfriend so bad.
Here's George Janko.
I worry about her daily.
Here's George Janko talking to another criminal, Patrick David. B-E-T. And I'm not related to him.
Are you sure?
Jesus, man. If I turn... Look, he's dyeing his hair, too. He should have Greek like me. But no. Shaves his face, dyes his hair. This is Patrick Bet David wearing criminal black. This is the shiny black shirts that only a psychotic criminal would wear, especially during the summer. Any man wearing an Express for Men black button-down dress shirt of this sort, run away from them. Wait till you see Janko dressed in black. But listen to what this little asshole says. This is the type of stuff that's so tough to talk about right now because somebody's going to call you this, they're going to call you that. But this is the stuff that's going to destroy our reality. Once our reality is destroyed, you thought, oh, you're worried about the climate, you're worried about the economy. Guys, more important than both of those, reality. Reality is a thing you could break as well, and we're very close to doing it because of stuff like this. Listen to this.
There's still that risk that's out there, and that's okay. We have to be okay with that.
And, you know, it's what you said, too, about the being transparent, not being afraid, you know, not trying to avoid conflict, and I think that's something...
She's getting uglier, too. Uglier, and those tits are shrinking.
It's just bad lighting. She's very beautiful.
Nope, getting uglier by the day. Every day I see her, I think of her a little bit less. And wait till you see what type of woman... This is a bad person. Listen to this bad person.
Too, that we have strongly in a relationship, you know, we're very big in communication and communicating how we feel. And, you know, I think in the beginning of our relationship, our communication wasn't as strong. And then as we've been together, you know, our communication has grown really strong.
Cut to monkey.
He's so good at communicating with me. You know, he's very transparent about how he feels so we can get things on the table and talk through things. But then I came to a point where then I wasn't communicating as much because I was trying to avoid conflict. And he's like, don't keep your feelings because you're trying to avoid a conflict with me. Like, tell me how you feel.
George has a history of brainwashing this girl into believing his incoherent ramblings about what life's supposed to be. And whenever George is wrong, he just throws it to God. Well, if I'm wrong, the only person that could judge me is God. That should be illegal to say. That should be disinformation. Like, a thing should pop up from YouTube, which, by the way, I want the social networks now to step in and start. I want the government to start stepping in and just setting people straight because it's getting crazy out there to tell people that the only people you need to report to is God. Listen to this. So listen to this household. Listen to where it's going.
Everybody's making fun of the way she's talking. They're like, say communicate one more time, bitch.
Yeah.
But Janko is the one who gets this.
Yes, Janko is poisoning her. She doesn't know. She's like Jules. She don't know a damn thing. No.
And she only has George to listen to.
She only has George to listen to, and George is making this shit up based on what flows out of his mouth easiest. That's about it. You know, they get on Adderall, they start fucking talking themselves up. Listen to this, though. In this regards, Andrew Tate.
Feel so that we can figure it out. Because then I started holding things out. I don't want to create a problem. I don't want to get into a fight. I don't want to ruin this day.
That was cross-separation.
Yep. Absolutely. Because then you're holding these things in. You're building up
resentment
or whatever it might be. But if you put it out on the table and you have that conversation, then really what's the worst thing that can happen, right?
Amen. Absolutely. And also, here's the thing.
Wearing all black, by the way. Jesus fish tattoo. If you see someone with a Jesus fish, rip it off the back of their car. That should be illegal. Wearing all black needs to become illegal. Wearing a polo shirt needs to become illegal. I like saying illegal, by the way. That gives me a rush. Illegal is what it should be. Illegal, not illegal. That's what a pinhead would say. So here's George Janko. He's developed his Muhammad. His beard here. This is his Muhammad. It protects him from anything. Listen to what Mr. Celsius has to say. By the way, the owner of Celsius is a criminal. Pepsi. Really? Have you seen the owner of Bang Energy Drink? He was on John Wilson. That is a criminal.
That was a great ad.
Anybody who lives in Miami is a criminal. And they're not cool just because they hate the... Listen, we all hate the left. Let's agree on that. But it is not cool to now be a criminal in Miami conning the world and then getting away with it because you hate the left. So every guy who hates the left is on the criminal side now. That's what's happening. Listen to this.
It's like you throw away your ego, I throw away my ego. We're a team. And we're living in a world right now where it's like, no, women ain't shit. Men need to run, or men is thinking this, or blah, blah, blah. No. We're not listening to the outside world. We come together, we pray together, we respect each other. So when I say, yo, like, speak your feelings, don't be worried about me being upset. I'm a piece of shit if you tell me how you feel and I disregard it. And I'm
This
like,
is
no,
all manipulation.
stupid, blah, blah, blah.
Watch.
Then what I told her is this.
Listen.
God leads our relationship. Live your life. And if I'm doing something wrong, God will take me out of your life. If you're doing something wrong, God will take you out of my life. That that level of trust and faith in not only your partner, but in a God gives you the secure.
No, that needs to be, that's disinformation, first of all. Please. God is not doing nothing. You must believe me. We can't revert back to this where all of our problems, well, at the end of the day, it's just God. So if we're not meant to be together, God will separate. That's not even why we're here. But that needs to end. You must give reality some respect, and the God stuff needs to be kept on the bedroom floor while you sit there praying before bed. Okay. All right, listen to this, though. We're not even at the part. Listen to this.
Of your life. If you're doing something wrong, God will take you out of my life.
No.
That level of trust and faith and not only...
So God didn't take you out of my life, so I haven't done a damn thing wrong, right? This is what they're convincing these women, and these women are falling for. You should see these women like Brendan Schaub's wife falling for all this Listen to this, though.
Your partner, but in a God,
gives
you the security and the foundation for me to go out and hunt in this world and know that my woman stands with integrity behind my back. This type of relationship is almost doesn't exist anymore because people are so consumed on what is Andrew saying, what is so-and-so saying. I gotta be like that. You don't even know. There's so many people that come up to me, and you were one of them in the beginning. You're like, nah, I don't fuck with Andrew Tate. And I said, give me one thing you don't like.
You're talking about the girlfriend. There's so many people who think Andrew Tate's bad, and you were one of them, pointing to the girlfriend. And George goes, okay, tell me one thing about him that's bad. Listen to this.
People that come up to me, and you were one of them in the beginning. You're like, nah, I don't fuck with Andrew Tate. And I said, give me one thing you don't like about him. Oh, he's degrading to women. Fine. Give me one thing he said that's degrading to women. Okay, you're just coming off of your decisions of what other people think.
And because I had only seen clips of that side of him. I hadn't actually watched myself what he actually has to say.
And what did I say to you? I said, hey, do your homework for yourself. Evaluate your morals and his morals, and then align them, then make your decision. Don't just run with what somebody else hears and says, and then come to me as your partner. I go, you just gathered bad information and then gave it to me. You poisoned our home.
You poisoned our home. Did you hear this?
And this angel has to sit there and going, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. I looked into Andrew Tate. He's so great. We cannot live in a world where stuff like this is happening. You just can't. I mean, I shouldn't have to explain this. Don't make me explain this. How dare you make a person like me have to sit here and explain this?
Your partner, I go, you just gathered bad information and then gave it to me. You poisoned our home. Don't bring that to the table. Come with a conclusion that you made on your own, and then we'll discuss it. And then we had to sit down, and we literally sat down at the table, and we watched so many podcasts. Pause.
Of Andrew Tate.
About what he said here. And then we're communicating with each other.
Yes.
That's communication.
Yes, he sat there and he went, pause. Tell me about what you feel about what he said here, and she had to do like a test and make sure she answered right.
So you've manipulated and gaslit your girlfriend into believing Andrew Tate is actually here to help the world. And then Patrick Bet David is going to go, good boy. Yes, passing on my traditions. Good boy, yes, you put her in line. This is what's happening out there, and this is being rewarded as the good guy podcast. This is being, George is setting the world. George has no idea that there's my take on this. George thinks he has the moral, superior take on this, and that is that Andrew Tate is actually a good person being set up by the government.
Podcast, pause. How do you feel about what he said here? And then we're communicating with each other. But that's communication.
I love that.
Yes, I
You know what I'm
love
saying?
that.
Of course.
That's why when he said,
You scumbag.
I know, you know what, you're right. I may not know everything in her past. I know enough that I know that she's my partner.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
But by the way, you're not supposed to know everything. You know,
they need to be executed. I'm sorry, they just need to be executed. I hope I'm not picking a fight with this. The last thing I want to do is pick a fight with what your ideas were. But
you guys aren't mad.
this stuff has been getting pretty eerie lately. And you got to sometimes reset some people where you go, guys, snap out of it a little here. You're going way too deep into things. Look at this bitch. She has no clue.
I feel so... My
no
heart aches.
clue. She's really this is abusive.
He is, and
to
this
have
is the
this
first time
little
I've
monkey.
noted out a bunch of stuff that we never got to of the way he treats her on his podcast, and he just treats her like she's an animal that has no brain.
Well, the kid's high on Celsius. 200 milligrams of caffeine in each one of these, with God knows how many grams of taurine and cleopatrine. You can't be drinking Celsius. Jules, please, you got to stop drinking Celsius.
I know,
It's the drink of the devil. It has to be.
It's the only energy drink that with 200 milligrams of caffeine that doesn't make me brutally nauseous.
Celsius makes Red Bull look like mineral water. Not going to say pure water.